You've got to be joking me. Hopkins reaches up with 3 defenders around him and pulls it in, and the Cardinals lead it 32-30 with a second left.
You can't cover Nuke. You're not going to be able to cover him. Throw the ball up. That's what Kyler Murray did.
You know, in basketball terminology, that's what they call this. You know, when somebody get dunked on. But it was on 3 people. Yeah, it was, you know, they were in position. It was just a better catch by Ivy.
DeAndre Hopkins is a elite receiver in this league. You know, we understood that. We understood that coming into the game. We knew what he's able to do, and you know, best hands in the league. He showed it right there. I feel like we all possibly could have timed. You know, me personally, I know I could have timed it up better. You know, I was trapped behind him. I was too worried about him getting over top of the defense, so I stayed back and tried to force everything to be in front of me. And then at that same time, you know, when the ball was in the air, I was stuck behind him. I wasn't able to get in front, and then he just timed it up better. He went up first, and you know, in a play like that, it's like basketball rebound. Whoever's up first times it up best. I was able to bring it down. That ball literally just stuck to his hands. Good throw by Murray, and it just stuck to his hands. He was able to bring it down.
Was there anything that you think could have been different other than the outcome of the play in how it was defended, or could you have done any better than that?
I mean, yeah, of course. Honestly, Vic, like, could I have done any better? Of course, I could have done better.
I meant in terms of the That's what I was.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's always that's why I said what I said, Vic, when I came in here. The very first question I said, you're always, as a coach, you always think about what we could have done differently. Right? That's the very first thing I said. What could I have done differently? What could we have done differently? Right? You ask the players the same questions. We got great guys in this locker room. They're saying the same thing. Knock the ball down. We can't be interception minded in that situation. Knock the ball down. Right? So at the end of the day, give them the credit. They made a special play.
Sean McDermott, a little salty there, and for good reason. It's in the immediate aftermath of a deflating loss, a game that they had believed they'd won. They got that feeling that they're going to win it. They just had to play some defense, and ultimately were unable to. And Peter, you spoke to Kyler Murray after the game at length. I had him for a few minutes. Look, Murray had a ton of confidence when he let go of the football. He did a great job getting away from a would-be tackler to extend the play. Threw the ball. He told me that when he let it go, he knew it had a chance. Of course, having DeAndre Hopkins there to potentially catch it would increase the confidence level. I still don't understand why the Bills didn't have more guys drop back. I think at some level you're concerned that Kyler Murray is just going to rip right through everybody and you're not going to get him by the time he gets to the end zone because once it's time to go catch him, you may not be able to. But do you have any sense why they didn't have more guys back there trying to knock that ball down?
I really don't think that was the issue, Mike, because when you think about it, they either had 7 or 8 people back. Okay, depending on how you see the way the quarterback was rushed on that play. And let me just say, I think there are 3 points about this play that I find extremely interesting. Okay, did you see the quote that I had from Murray about basically when he got up to the line and he came out of the huddle, he called the play, and he told me, and I quote, "The play was kind of in shambles." Okay, so, I couldn't quite figure that out, and he didn't really want to say exactly why the play was in shambles. But I think we can figure it out now thanks to something that Peter Schrager said on Good Morning Football this morning. And that is that, according to Cliff Kingsbury, the first read for the quarterback on this play was a drag route. And so a drag route in this particular case is when a player is on the opposite side of the field and he comes all the way across the field, maybe 15 to 20 yards deep downfield. Okay, he comes all the way across and you get the ball to him and he runs out of bounds and you've got 2 or 3 seconds left and you got one more play, maybe from the 25-yard line now. It's not a Hail Mary, it's a real legitimate pass. This is why I think that Kyler Murray called the play in the huddle and without any intention to ever look at Andy Isabella, who was the guy who was doing that drag route across the middle. Mike, if you watch this play, you see that as 6 turns to 5 on the clock, Kyler Murray got rid of the ball. Okay, and it comes down from the sky at about 3 seconds to go. It's caught. There's either 2 or 1 seconds to go. Okay, timeout. The clock is stopped right there. So just imagine for a second, this is what Kyler Murray has to be thinking. If I throw the ball to Andy Isabella and he can't immediately get out of bounds, if there's some traffic there and they're standing between him and the sidelines, the clock's going to run out. So to me, I know what I'm going to do when I leave the huddle. I am going to wait till DeAndre Hopkins gets in the end zone, and I'm going to throw it up, and I'm going to make him win a jump ball. Now, that's one thing. My second point, though, Mike, if you watch very closely, time and again, I watched this 30 times. Watch Tre'Davious White. At one point, you can see Tre'Davious White, his 2 hands come together like he's trying to catch the ball. Okay? The one rule for a defensive player, whether you punch it, whether you slap at it, whatever it is that you do, you're not trying at all to catch the ball. All you want to do is get the ball out of the hands of the receiver. That is the fatal mistake by the Buffalo Bills. That is why the Buffalo Bills only have a 1/2 game lead in the AFC East today.
Are you suggesting, Mr. King, that Kyler Murray went rogue? That Kyler Murray disregarded the code red? That he disregarded the way? I mean, I like it if it is.
No, I'm telling you what I am suggesting, and this is what, from what we know now, if Peter Schrager is correct, that the first read on that play is Andy Isabella on a drag route. But I know this is from, having talked a couple of times to Murray and knowing the way that he's coached by Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury does not have his thumb on Kyler Murray. He does not say, well, you better do what I say. He basically gives his quarterback the power because his quarterback's on the field. Because I believe what he said to Kyler Murray, and Schrager, referred to this, is, hey, if you think the better play is to DeAndre Hopkins, make it. Do it. So I don't even think when this ball was in the air that Cliff Kingsbury was saying, what is he doing? I think Cliff Kingsbury gives Kyler Murray the wherewithal to make a decision, a huge decision, at the line of scrimmage or while he's rolling out about what he should do. And that's the kind of coach I would want too. But I sense that Kyler Murray just felt like, listen, there's a 15, 20% chance. If I throw this ball to Andy Isabella and it's complete, we're not going to get another playoff.
I'm just fascinated by the comment that the play was in shambles. I didn't realize that was a pre-snap observation. I thought it was something that he had referred to after guy chases him. He's got to break away. Right. He's got to improvise. I didn't realize that was a pre-snap thing. And I love Kyler Murray, and he's not your typical gregarious quarterback. He's a little shy.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to draw things out of him, and that's okay. That's okay. But sometimes there's something left for interpretation. And regardless, it worked. It worked for him. It didn't work for the Buffalo Bills. And I like the point about Tre'Davious White. That's a coaching point for the future. Hey, Tre'Davious, next time you're in a Hail Mary situation, don't try to catch the freaking ball. Knock it down, and knock it down.
I think it blows me away, Mike. One last thing. It blows me away that there are 3 players for the Buffalo Bills. And it's not like it's Wilt Chamberlain versus Bob Cousy, or shall we say Shaquille O'Neal versus Muggsy Bogues. These guys are within 3 inches of each other. It's not like DeAndre Hopkins. People were making out like DeAndre Hopkins got a foot on these guys. He does not. I mean, those guys somebody should have been able to get a fist on the corner of this ball, period. And if you risk pass interference, then you risk it, even though they never, ever, ever call pass interference on a Hail Mary.
Yeah. somebody posted a tale of the tape with DeAndre Hopkins and the 3 defensive backs, and I expected it to be much more jarring than it was. I looked at the various numbers, and I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not Shaquille O'Neal and Muggsy Bogues. They had a shot to go up and at least get a hand on the ball and knock it away. That's all they had to do. He needed to get 2 hands on the ball and catch it, and somehow he did.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.